Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be reading from some notes so I don't leave anything out today, and it will be self-explanatory as I go along with this. I have just yesterday, being Monday, I think it was the 3rd of October, had my first experience ever of selling cameras at the Adelaide Camera Market. Excuse me, I might do a little bit of that. I had attended one of these only at least 10 years ago. So I was only an attendee 10 years ago or whatever. And I'd never ever actually sold anything there. I've sold cameras online for a few years now, but never in person at a market. So these are my reflections on how the day was and the lead up to this. If you look through this channel, you'll see that I own or have owned a lot of cameras, and I've reviewed many of them. I have too many, so I was prepared to sacrifice a few in the interest of downsizing. Before I start, let me, or go on with this, let me say this was one of the most enjoyable few hours that I've spent in the last several years in my photographic career, I think you could call it. I did make a nice profit, but for me, the value in this outing was lots more than the money. So I spent much of last week selecting items for sale and working out a strategy. I had to then work out some prices that I thought would be fair and attractive. I wasn't really out to make a lot of money, but encourage people, particularly younger ones who are getting into photography, by maybe selling them something that they could use and learn from. So effectively, I was going to sell some cameras, some photographic books, some photographic magazines, some accessories, and also promote to people who I engage with the idea that they could contact me for some photography training, both one-on-one or in a small group. And I've done a lot of this over the years, including training many people in wedding photography. So I set out to try and generally engage people and find out their photographic interest. I did have the idea. I dropped a few of my ideas along the way before I did it because I thought it's all too hard. But I did actually make a PowerPoint presentation that I was going to have on a laptop up on a stand so people could come past and just watch a 4-minute video of what I was on about there. And I prepared all that. In the end, I thought, no, it's too hard. I can't get it really to keep repeating the loop. So I might show you a little bit of that in a minute just to see what I was up to and what I was trying to do. You might see some of the things I dropped out. So I gave out my contact details on a homemade business card. Perhaps I'll just show you that little slide presentation now. If we just go back here and view the screen. Where are we? Share the screen. And we'll go up here. Slideshow. Play from the start. So this is what I was going to have up there as a continuing revolving slideshow. And whoops, there we go. That was an old photo of me. I've never been in the Adelaide Rally. My son gave me that cap. Anyway, here we go. You can read this yourself. I'm dealing in cash, but open to paying you direct by my bank account today if you're using a banking phone app. Actually, in actual fact, the organizer had a system whereby if people didn't have cash, they could pay him using their credit card and then I'd get reimbursed. So that was good. I was going to give out some Grand Prix promotional posters, but that didn't work. Hang on, where did I go? And most cameras will be labelled with a price, and there was going to be a box of lower priced items for $2 or thereabout. In the end, I had such a big box of those, I thought that's too hard to bring and I won't have enough room to display them. So these are the services available that I was promoting: cameras and photography related items, and I sell from time to time. I sell them on Gumtree and Marketplace in Australia. And I had these little cards that I made up. You probably can't see that there. These little cards that I made up. And I was saying, leave me your email if you want to be informed when I advertise new items online. And then with a few pictures of some of the cameras that I've had or still have. That one on the left there is my The first camera I ever learnt to use, which was my dad's. I've probably shared that with you before. And the other one's a Pentax KX, which I've encouraged someone to ring me back with the idea of buying one of those. Some of my Pentax collection, and that's a nice Retina 3C, beautiful camera. Pentax Super A with a beautiful 28 to 210 Curon lens on it. Nice lens. A couple of young friends who I did some family photos one day. I like to get kids modeling using my little old cameras. They make a good prop. And then I told people, I told a few people about the Parkinson's photography group, and I've shared that on here before, how I'd leave this group of people who have Parkinson's disease for monthly get-togethers who are keen on photography. And there they are. There's some of them there. All level of photographer is welcome. And if you have Parkinson's disease, why not contact me? And here's one of our friends, David, from the group. This is actually going through as a loop at the moment. So there you go. I don't have to press the button. That's Beth. Our only female member really at the moment. We'd love some other ladies to join us. Howard, and that's one of his photos back there. These are all our photos on display in a gallery there. And that's Michael. And this next one, I think, is Leith, I think. Let's have a look and see if that comes through. Yeah, there's Leith. And that was up at Harndorf. That photo in the background is his great-grandfather, I think, who had a business in Harndorf. So it was, and I was also spruiking my photography training. And I told this to people who I saw yesterday. I'm open to training people one-on-one or in small groups. And I said, give me your email details and whatever. And I talked about my wedding photography training and how I no longer do weddings as I'm not as fit as I used to be. And I may be able to give them some training. I engaged in a couple of young wedding photographers who might be interested in that. And here's just a few sample wedding photos from the old days. That was taken on Kangaroo Island. So was that a big group photo? I did end up doing a panorama of that. This is over in Perth in Western Australia in a town called Rockingham. Did this wedding back in 2006 using my new Canon 400D for the first time because my Pentax digital camera had packed up before. So I had to buy a new one and I hadn't even used it, but I used it for this wedding and it turned out quite well. Excuse me. And that was also down at the beach using some bounce flash off the ceiling there. And I'll show you in a minute the instrument that I used. I also have a YouTube channel, which as you know, which I was spruiking and telling a few people, but not too many people. And that's just a facsimile of the YouTube app, what it looks like at the moment. So that was going to be my little slideshow going to be up on the screen. Anyway, if you went there yesterday, this is the slideshow you missed out on. So there you go. Thanks for coming. So let's stop the sharing and we'll get back to where I was. I had to work out some prices after I did all my planning that I thought would be fair and attractive. I wasn't really out to make a lot of money, but encourage people, particularly younger ones who are getting into photography. So effectively, I was going to sell some, I don't know whether I read this out or not before, but anyway, I'll read it again. I was going to sell some cameras, photographic books, photographic magazines, accessories, and also promote to people about the idea of training, which I just mentioned there. So, where are we? This market was the first one ran in Adelaide for probably 3 years because of COVID-19. I found out about it via Matt Mackinson, the owner-manager of Black and White, excuse me, Photographics in Adelaide. And this was my lab of choice when I did many weddings many years ago. And I did my first wedding in 1975 and the last one about 4 years ago. So how did this market go? Incidentally, I'll put a link below to Black and White Photographics. I'd encourage anyone to use that lab. It's a wonderful lab. Firstly, I had a good mate, John, who was with me, come along to help me manage my 2 tables. He's not a photographer, knows little about photography. He's keen garage sale attendee, and sometimes he'll ring me up from a garage sale and talk to about a camera that he's discovered there and do I want to buy it? But he was an amazing support. So thanks, John. Fantastic. Spent the whole day there and really helped me out. So apart from making a little bit of money, I had one of my best days in photography for the last 20 years. I met many old friends, and in particular, there were people from film labs and camera stores that I have traded with over many years. It always throws me when someone rings me in the middle of one of my recordings, and I'm sorry I messed that up. But anyway, we'll continue where I think I was before. So there was, I was saying how I had met up with many old friends, and I made some new ones. There was even a young guy and his partner, and I'll say their first names, Alex and Sherry, who was, and Alex was the buyer of my Pentax 645 system a few years back, or a couple of years back now, when I sold it, maybe 3, I don't know. And I sold it via a consignment in the camera shop in the Adelaide Market. And there's a review of that camera on this channel. I'll put a link underneath to that Pentax 645 camera. He had it for sale, and I nearly bought it back from him. And then the next amazing thing about that was that the original owner of that camera was there, Tom, who has been working in selling cameras for years in Adelaide, well-known Adelaide identity in the camera world. Tom was the original owner of that camera, and he was there. And then also the guy who sold it to Alex on consignment, Luke from the camera store in Adelaide Central Market, was also there. So it was an interesting little story of link-ups there. And photography is a bit like that, particularly in Adelaide, where we're a lovely city, but we're in some ways like a big country town. Everyone sort of seems to know someone who knows someone. Excuse me. And there were others in my photography past there who I had associated with over the years. There was even John, who was there, who had done one of my wedding photography courses years ago. And it was great to catch up with Simon Stanbury, one of Adelaide's finest and long-serving commercial photographers. And Peter, one of my Gumtree customers, came along. And I had some lovely conversations with many younger and older people. It was particularly interesting to me, the interest shown in photographic books. I sold more books than anything else. So it was a great day for me, and I hope to follow up with some of the people who I gave out cards to, and I advised that I had other cameras available here at home that they might be interested in, because I think they were probably the sort of cameras they were looking for, wanting to get started seriously into their film photography. and I'm hoping that some of those that I suggested to do some training with me would also follow up. I gave out quite a few of those cards. So many thanks also to Rod Reynolds of the Australian Photographic Collectors Society, based in Melbourne, who was the main man, I think, behind the event, and also Matt Mackinson of Black and White Photographics, who had a lot to do with it as well. Now, there were probably many others who helped to make this happen, so many thanks to them too. Let's hope we can have another event next year. If any of you read this who were there, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, or even ring me. So what was I tempted to buy, but I didn't, and what was the one item I did buy? It was hard work, but I had to not give in to temptation. So I'm glad I didn't check out every single thing on offer, because it would have been even harder. I didn't buy my original Pentax 645, which was very tempting to buy back again. I always regretted selling it, but I know it's in good hands. And it didn't get sold, I don't think, or could have been by now. I saw a Panasonic MS5 Super VHS video camera. I have one of those. I had about 4 of them at one stage when my son and I were just starting, or he was starting to get into wedding videos. And the one I've got, the only one I've got left now, has got a faulty conveyor belt in it, I think, or something like that. Probably needs to be fixed with a rubber band, but I saw that walking out with some young guy who'd bought it, and then I'm glad I didn't follow up on that, because I thought, no, I don't really need to buy it. And there was also a Pentax Auto 110 or 110 outfit, little mini Pentax SLR cameras, which I've had on my wish list for years, and that was going at a good price, a whole set, and I was very tempted to buy that. So what did I buy? And I almost pulled out of this sale as well. And I'll show it to you. There you go. This was going at a good price. It's a Metz 45, you can see the thing up the front there. Whoops, the Metz 45 CT1 flash, what they call the hammerhead flashes. And they go up and they swivel and everything. Now, I've done a review of using my Pentax MZS and how I used to shoot weddings with these. And I'll put a link to that underneath. But anyway, I bought this off this lady at a very good price. And unfortunately, this little gadget here where you put your 6 batteries in, AA batteries, is faulty. And I might be able to fix that. But I don't use that anyway. And this other one here had seized up batteries in it that had all corroded. I think it was a rechargeable battery pack in there, but I don't know what. That's something I'll probably just have to chuck away. But when I bought this, I knew that I might have those sort of problems. But the redeeming thing was that, and I'll show you how this works, is that I still have my quantum battery pack, which I think I've showed to people as well in that. I'll put the link below showing you how this works, but hang on, we'll put that in there. I'll just show you how this works and how it hooks up to my battery pack, just again, for those who haven't seen it before and can't wait to see it. I'm going to put on here, and there were a number of these being sold yesterday, the Pentax Spotmatics. This is my original one. So just bear with me while I put that on here. Bit awkward doing this. Just screw that in the bottom. There you go. It's all screwed on now. Now it's got a lead here. The later versions of this have got through the lens flash metering. So we just got to plug this into the X socket down here, the flash sync socket. These cameras have the Pentax Spotmatic has a flash sync speed of 160th of a second. So we've got that there. I cock the shutter so the camera's working. And then we get the battery pack, the quantum battery pack, which is this one here. I had this refurbished a couple of years ago and all new cells put in it, and it works like a treat. It had gone dead because I hadn't used it for so many years, but now it works fine. And so you can still get those repaired if you have one. I used to have 2 of those. I sold one to a friend. So this is the module that comes with it, you see. So that module fits into the bottom of the flash. You can see the cord coming away, and then you see the module down here. There you go. That's the little module, which is a facsimile of the other thing that you put batteries in. So I don't know whether that's the right word or not. But, so anyway, there you go. So I've already got this turned on, got this plugged in. So then the next thing is you just, click the little switch there and the little red light comes on. See there? I already had this primed up before. So that's all charged, fully charged there now. So what I used to do shooting weddings, I'd be out all day. I'd have this around over my shoulder. And when it was fully charged, a couple of occasions in my wedding photography career, I did 2 weddings in one day. And that battery pack served me on both those weddings. I didn't have to recharge at all. Get caught up there. In fact, I usually used to put it over on this left shoulder. That's probably where I'm more comfortable. So we'll put that over there, and that's all primed up. And there we go. Haven't got a film in this. So there we go. I'll point it over there so you don't get the flash straight in your face there, or I don't, or someone doesn't. Look at that. And then the beauty of these is, of course, you can bounce off the ceiling and get nice soft lighting with them. And you can set this adjusting so you can change the output of the flash there, which is really handy when you're trying to do fill flash and things like that outdoors. And what I used to do, I used to put a rubber band around there and put a business card on there and reflect light. I'd bounce off the ceiling or off something else, or even without a ceiling, just a little bit of light that comes forward from the business card there is enough when you're outdoors and people have got shadows under their eyes, just enough from that little business card to actually lift out the darkness under their eyes because of the overhead of the sun or the clouds. So there you go. And also, of course, you can swivel it and point it in any direction you like. So I could to change your angle and change the effect that you get. So just change that here, there now. There we go, I can see you there now. I've got a film in it. So I didn't pay very much for that at all, but she told me she bought it, the lady who had it, she said she was told she needed one of these for her camera years ago, but never ever actually used it. And probably a lot of people don't know how to use them. But to me, I'm glad I did buy it now, even though I was trying to pull out of it at the end there. And she was a bit disappointed because other people had expressed some interest in it. So thank you for that. Thank you for coming back to me, because I'm glad I bought it. And it's a wonderful acquisition. And when I put this on here and put like that and started, I'm thinking, and I bought a couple of rolls of film there yesterday. I'll have to put some film in this and start trying it out and taking a few samples. The good thing about this as well is that you can use this on digital SLRs as well, on my Pentax digital SLRs, particularly the first one I ever got, the Pentax IST-D, which was the first digital SLR that came out. That's got a PC socket as well, and you can just plug this in here. And I did a wedding with that once, just using that years ago with one of these. So there you go. That was my bargain that I got at the camera market. Hook all that there now. Put that down there. So I had a great day, and I'm sure many other people did too. It's really great to get amongst fellow enthusiasts, and I was really, my head was spinning last night because I'd had so many wonderful conversations with people and met so many nice younger and older people, and all those conversations were going on in my head last night. It took me a while to settle and go to sleep. So thanks for watching, and please, if you went to the market, please add some comments underneath, or if you intend to contact me and you've got my little business card with a number on it, give me a ring or send me an email, and that'll be great. So thanks for watching. Like if you like, subscribe if you wish, and I'll see you next time. And now we're going to leave the meeting and see if I can put both parts of this film together.